have created a folder called bookie-node. So within this folder we'll continue our project. So let's get started. So initially we need to have yarn installed in our machine. So for that you can install it from the website. So now let's initialize package.json using yarn. So we can do this by yarn init-y. So doing this, it will generate a new package.json for us, and then you can see there are the few basic contents of this file. So it seems that we need to install few of the dependencies. So for that, let's simply do it. So let's install them. So we'll add the packages like yarn add express. Since we are working on the typescript, we also need to add the types for the express. Since we'll be using with .env file, we need a package called .env. We will be using type orm. We need reflect as metadata. For it we require mysql 2, and then we'll require cors body parser, and then also express async errors, which I'll be explaining in a while. So let's install all of these dependencies. It takes us some time for these dependencies to be installed. Yeah, so we pretty much got all of the dependencies. So those were our main dependencies. If I go to this file, you can see these are the main dependencies. So we also require few of the dev dependencies. So let's install them as well. So I will quickly clear this up. So we will require some dev dependencies as typescript. We also require ts-node, and then ts-config-paths, and we will require the types for the node. We also require node daemon, so that we can have the changes reflected automatically without having to run the dev command. Also we need the types for the cors, and finally the types for the body dash parser. So we might install few of the other dependencies as per need. So yeah, we installed all of these dependencies. So the first thing that we need to do is, since we are working on with typescript, we need to generate a tsconfig JSON file. So for that, what can we do is we can make the use of npx command tsc, and we can basically init a new tsconfig. So as you can see over here, we have a new file called tsconfig.json. So over here we need to make sure that few of the things are turned on, because we are working with type orm, and it heavily makes the uses of the decorator. So there is this option, we need to comment this out, and then we also need to emit decorator metadata. It also needs to be turned on, but it needs to be false. And also let's do few of the things like no implicit any. So for this, let's keep this to false, and then let's do the final thing, that is strict property initialization. Let's keep this to false. So we are almost ready with these things. So yeah, we have our package.json, we have the tsconfig. Now what we need to do is we need to create some folders inside this. So let's do that as well. So I'll be making use of the terminal command to do so. So we'll require a directory called src, where most of the things will reside. So let's do that, and then from here, now let's have a new file called main index.tx, which will hold the information for all of the application, or this is the main entry point of the application. So the index.ts, it will also require another file called app.ts, because we want to we do not want to make our index.tx a huge file, and that does something that does so many things. So let's break this into two files where the application related logics will be inside the app.ts, and index.ts will import it. So let's go to app.ts. So we will import few of the things over here. So we require express, and it will come from express, and then we also require body parser. From body parser, let's import also the course from course. Let's do only these things at the moment. So now we need to initialize a new app which will be of the type express, and then it will call the function called express. So it is giving me an error because we have not imported it, so we can simply import it. So I'll just import express from express. Along with that, we also need to import the express. So yeah, so auto save automatically remove the things that are not used. So let's do something. Let's make the use of course. So we will explain about this in a while, and then we also need to make the use of the another middleware, which is the body parser middleware. And since we are working with the REST API, we need to make everything to be JSON. So pretty much we got everything at this point. So now, just to make sure that we are good with everything, we will just create a new endpoint called hello, and then what will this do is it will take the three parameters, raise and next, meaning request, response and next. So we are not providing any tabs for this at the moment because we are just trying to see that it works perfectly fine. So return race.status will send 200 status back, and the JSON will be message will be hello and world. So yeah, this is formatted. So this is the main app.ts file. So later on, when we work on the different routes, we will be importing the different routes from here, and then we'll be exporting this app.ts so that index.ts can call it. So finally, let's import this app, and now let's go to index.ts. So over here, so the first thing that we need to do is we import everything as .env from .env. This is because we want to make use of the env file, and then we'll import the app from ./app, and then we need to set up the .env. So this will be we need to call this thing. So now finally we need to make sure that we are listening on some port. So for that, we'll listen on the we'll be listening on some particular port. Let's define this as const port, so which will be coming from the env file itself, and then if it does not exist, we will set the port to 3000. So we'll listen to app port, and we'll listen to this port, and then we'll notify that console.log the server is running on port, and the port will be port. So the next thing that we need to do is simply create a .env file. So let's touch it, and then over here what can we do is app_port. Let's keep it to 3001 just to prove that it works fine. So finally, yeah, we are almost ready with everything at the moment. So that now let's make some changes in our package.json as well, because we need to provide some script over here so that we can run it. So over here, just above the dependencies, I will create a section for the scripts, and then it will have something like build, which will be calling the command tsc, and then we want to have a command called dev, so which will be calling the package called nodemon. So what does this do is, as soon as we make some changes, it will automatically rerun this particular command. So it will automatically build the things for us. So nodemon watch src will be checking the directory called src, and then we need to execute the following command: ts-node, ts-node, and then we will be hitting the file src index.ts. So what does this do is, so within this file src we'll be checking if there is any sort of changes or not. So let's run the command using, we can do this like yarn dev. So if you are using npm, you can do npm run dev. So it seems the application is crashed. So it seems that the application crashed. Okay, so the mistake that I did was I kept these two contents outside of the src, which needs to be moved inside it. So let's move this everything, and then once more we need to try to run the command. So you can see the application is running on the port 3001. So if you see the app.ts, we have an endpoint called hello. So now let's go to postman, and then let's add a new route, that is localhost 3001, and then we'll add a new route called hello. So yeah, this was the mistake. So let's change this to http, and let's see. Yeah, we got the response. I will zoom this up so that you can see it nicely.